Hey, what's up? We are going to go in and go deep and talk about this concept of fear of the unknown and how sometimes we can get in these cycles of being in the fear of the unknown. And I'm looking away because I'm thinking about the channel message that came through, because what the record keepers and guides were talking about is like, here's how it starts. That way you know what I'm referencing. Is they said, fear of the unknown. Many of you are pausing, stopping, evaluating, and overanalyzing your most powerful steps because of your minds, your egos are getting trapped in the room of the unknown. When you get stuck in this room, there are no doors or windows. You are unable to see clearly where you are and what direction to go next. I was there this weekend, and I was there as if that was a place that was like, I don't even know. So let's back up here. You know, as I'm going to just speak for myself and perhaps for you, because a lot of the people that come into my world, we are overachievers, we are doers, we are creative, we are heart-centered, we are passionate, and sometimes multi-passionate. I'm a manifesting generator. Not every single person in human design, not every single person who comes into my world is a manifesting generator, because I have generators, I have MGs, I have projectors, I have a lot of different people who come into my world. So it's not just about that. And sometimes we can get in these cycles, and I was in it hard, like hard. So where do we start? What I am coming to realize is that, all right, here's what I'm gonna say. Okay, so what I'm coming to believe, accept, and continue to ground in as my truth, that's moving from like my mind, believing it as a thought, and down into my heart and into my body, to where these things are how I live and who I am. And one of those things is related to trusting and knowing that we are always being guided through life, through many different things. A lot of questions that I will get in Akashic, well, I don't get them, but a lot of questions that come in Akashic soul activations, a lot of questions that are present in different things is, you know, how do I know my guides are there? How do I know I'm being guided? How do I know? And from my experience working with the Akashic record keepers, my guides, intuitive, my own higher self, my soul, all of these different things, is I'm coming to really like move into that place within my body that it is happening all the time. I think it's, how am I labeling it, and how am I believing or trusting if it's true or not true, or what that looks like. And so this weekend, when I was stuck in the room of the fear of the unknown, it was tough. It's like everything in my business felt so far away. I felt like I didn't really understand what my purpose was. I felt like Jay, my husband, walked in and he looked at me and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." He was like, "You look like defeated, like deflated. Is everything okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's just the state that I'm in, and I don't really want to try to act like it's not there. It's just here and it's present." And what had happened is I decided to do like some gig work on the side, and to help with like different bills and cash flow and different things. And so I got really caught up in that world, and I was like, oh my God, how's it gonna work? How on earth is this going to be enough? Like, I was so in that, as if that was the only thing I had going on. And it's wild because I literally did one day of Uber Eats. And so like I'd already like planned out this whole thing, and I don't know, and how's this gonna happen, and why is this going on? So you're talking about the overthinking, the thoughts. I mean, this went on for 2 days pretty much, and I could not shake it. I was like, I don't feel like myself. I don't even remember what my purpose is. Like, I couldn't figure out what to do. I was like walking around in circles, and I was like going, ugh, ugh. I was like making all these noises, and I was like huffing and puffing. And so grateful for my husband, because he was like, okay, like, you're going to get through this. And I said, I know I am. And for me, I learned some powerful lessons last night that I wanted to share with you. And one of them relates to what I talk about a lot in like my emails, to my email list, social media. You don't see this as much on YouTube, but I do talk about this a lot in my life, is I talk about one of the indications or one of the ways when people come to me to work with me one-on-one or in my different programs, or like I have 7 Weeks of Magic one-on-one program, I have 7 Weeks of Magic group program, and these are both around strengthening your intuition and the trust in yourself. And when people come into those programs, they're very unconventional, untraditional types of an experience, a growth experience that really is when your mind, you're like sick of overthinking or having the mind, like the usual mindset tricks and strategies aren't working. And you know that one of your next steps is intuition. You know that one of the ways that you can shift from the overthinking mind into the body is through your intuition and trusting yourself. Yet you keep kind of leaning on that overthinking mind. Like, this is what happened to me this weekend, and I could not see it when I was in it. When I was in the room of the unknown, I just couldn't see it. So I'm looking at my notes here to see. Let's do this now. Let me share with you the channeled message. Oh, well, let me back up. I feel like I have so many things I want to share. Okay, so that happened this weekend. Then last night I was like, I've got to shift this. And I work with sacred ceremonial cacao. I partner with Holy Wow Cacao, and I lead in-person ceremonies and virtual ceremonies. It's not something that you'll find on my website. This is really just something I do with my clients that I offer, or I do in person as a way to bring the Akashic Records and cacao into the community and help create bonds and open up hearts. And cacao is chocolate. And when we use ceremonial cacao, it helps us to come into our bodies. And I said to Jay, it was around 8 o'clock last night, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do a cacao ceremony. And I laughed because 8 p.m. is really not the best time for a cacao ceremony, because cacao can keep you awake at night. And so I knew that going in, and I said, I've got to shift this. I really do. And I know that when I sit with cacao, it'll help me come into my body and slow down. So I led myself through my own personal cacao ceremony. And it was through that I remembered who I was. Like, it's like all of the feelings, thoughts, and overwhelms and anxieties and all the unknowns just fizzled away as I remembered who I was. And I was like, oh my God, I have all these things. I have all this stuff. Like, wow, I'm so grateful. Like, it shifted everything for me. And I was up last night till 2 a.m. So 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. cacao ceremony. I was so lit. I was so excited. I was so creative. And so one of the projects that I've been working on is typing in. So I use these compendium. I'm not sponsored by them, but I love these compendium notebooks because they're spiral and they're easy to navigate. And so I have multiple of these that I keep all of my own personal Akashic Record messages for myself, as well as any messages I channel and share, whether it be here on video or that I share in about weekly-ish. I do share channel messages from the Akashic Records on my email list. So if you're not on the email list and you want that in your inbox, if you go to my website at JennyHolla, JennyHolla.com, you can sign up there. Make sure you double opt in or you won't get them. Or if you're a magical creature, you might get them. A magical being, because I had somebody connect with me recently who was getting all of my emails, but yet in the email system, it said like they were not getting any of them. And yet somehow they got all of them. So anyways, so yeah, these notebooks, I've been working on typing them in to like Word documents, so that way I have access to all of them virtually at any time without carrying around. I think I've built up probably 4. I think I'm just about to finish my 5th one. So imagine we travel full time, location independent nomads, whatever you want to call it, and carrying around 5 of these from state to state and area to area, that's a lot. So I've been wanting to type these in because we are in the area that we do have a storage unit, so I can put them in the storage unit. And what is beautiful about this work is that every single time that I type in these messages, which honestly it could be like once a month or every couple of weeks or so, I always receive a message that is so potent for what it is that I'm going through. And these are messages that I channeled a year and a half, 2 years ago, like in the past that I channeled. And this message I'm about to share with you is the one that I typed in after I had this whole experience. And I was like, holy crap, this is exactly what I went through. So I want to share this with you, this channeled message from the Akashic Records. And if you're here watching, here now or on the replay, I'd love if you drop a comment and say hi, let me know you're here. Or even if you're watching the replay, let me know. And as this goes through, let me know what is hitting and all of that. Okay. Here is the channel message from the record keepers. Fear of the unknown. Many of you are pausing, stopping, evaluating, and overanalyzing your most powerful steps because of your minds. Your egos are getting trapped in the room of the unknown. When you get stuck in this room, there are no doors or windows. You are unable to see clearly where you are and what direction to go next. In this state of not knowing and beginning to be unclear, you begin to allow the fear in. Upon noticing the fear, some of you freeze and don't do anything for pure fear of the unknown and what will unfold next. Others of you begin to become very chatty internally. That's me. And some externally, and this noise and this clutter then creates anxiety, and the fear of the unknown gets bigger and bigger. So at this point, as I was channeling this message from the Akashic Records, and this was a written channeled message in one of my books, I was being reminded of a saying that they have in the Yes Theory community. So if you're on YouTube or if you ever heard of Yes Theory, I love their channel. So a little shout out to Yes Theory. But one thing that they say in that community is a stranger is a friend that you haven't met yet. So I was reminded of this at this time of channeling because I channeled this message April of 2023. So the record keepers continue and they say, the same concept applies here. The more we are deciding to play in the fear of the unknown, the more we find ourselves in a less expansive and more closed state. From this state, it's like we become little kids looking for permission for someone to show us the safe way to get there. You see, much of the unknown are the strangers whom you haven't become friends with yet. We find that once we decide, and then they began to show me this whole vision, and they, meaning the Akashic Record Keepers, they showed me this whole vision of this room that they spoke of earlier. So this room of the unknown, trapped in this room of the unknown with no doors and windows. And so I see this room, and in that room, we decide to remain calm, peaceful, and centered. And we stand in the middle of the room, eyes closed, and we take in a deep breath, and we ask our higher selves what to take next. So now this is a bit of a hypothetical unfolding of what we could potentially do within this room of the unknown as far as the next step in the fear of the unknown. So as we ask our higher selves what steps to take next, we hear or we receive the message to go towards the wall to the left, that there's a door. We look at the wall to the left and our minds scream at us. What? Are they crazy? There's no door. I've been in here for hours. It's a blank wall. And you look over to the left, this is my left, and you see nothing. Nothing. It is this key moment of trust that we listen to our higher selves and we begin to walk towards the wall, getting closer and closer, knowing that our ego's minds see no logical way out of this room. Yet we take a deep breath and continue. As we walk to that wall and we arrive to that wall, we face yet another choice. 1, frantically search for the doorknob or door. 2, ask our higher selves what's next, or our soul, or God, universe, spirit. 3, take a deep breath, unsure if number 2 will work, and we stay calm and methodically search the wall, making sure we don't miss anything. And I remember seeing this vision when I pulled back up this message. It's as if like the methodically searching the walls, like starting in the bottom left corner, and kind of like if you were like doing a Where's Waldo or something, and you like search the whole thing from piece to piece. So the record keepers say, which would you choose at this point? Which option would you choose at this point? Be honest. This is a good reflection of where some of your mindset limitations are. This is a very clear reflection of where you are in your journey and how you may be approaching other things. You see, all of these actions, you will find the door. Relief, because that room of the unknown is wild. Like I said, I have just recently spent 2 days in it. And I spent 2 days in it where I was frantically searching for the doorknob and door. That was the choice that I had made recently for myself. If you want to share the choice that you would make, or maybe you've recently made, or if you feel like you're in the room of the unknown right now with something in your mouth, or in your life, you can drop that in the comment as 1, 2, or 3. And if you want to keep that to yourself, that is fine as well. But for me, I'll tell you that for me, I was a hard and solid 1, and I was frantically searching for the way out of it, and I could not see anything. So record keepers share that this is I'm going to read this again. This is a good reflection of where some of your mindset limitations are. This is a very clear reflection of where you are in your journey and how you may be approaching other things. You see, all of these actions, you will find the door. 1, if you picked number 1, and number 1 was frantically searching for the doorknob or door. 1, you will spend a lot of time and energy in the cycle of doubt, uncertainty, stepping away, trying over, going back, and eventually you find the door and walk through it, triumphant yet frazzled and exhausted. Ding, ding, ding. This is exactly my experience this weekend and how it unfolded for me. If what are the choices that you took, or what you would have picked, or what is present for you, or in a future scenario, you pick number 2, which is ask our higher selves what's next. The record keepers share, knowing that the door will be shown in the right time, and it will be with ease and grace. So if you're asking your higher self what's next, you kind of just know it'll be shown, and you walk through it with grace and ease, and you find it with grace and ease. And no craziness like I went through with the frantically searching. And then number 3 was taking a deep breath, unsure if number 2 will work, and you methodically search the wall for the door. So they say that number 3 is you remain calm, and you spend a lot of time learning quite a bit, and you come through the door happy and unsure why it took so long, and at the same time, grateful for the lessons the experience provided. The interesting thing is that I have spent a lot of my life in number 3, in this room of uncertainty, with the fear of uncertainty and all of that. I've spent a lot of my time in number 3 as well. Because in that place, when we are overthinking, or maybe the mindset strategies and usual things aren't working for us anymore, we really want to ask our higher selves what's next, and we want to be able to have some grace, and we want to be able to have some ease, and we want that to be able to be shown in the right time, and trust that it'll be shown in the right time. And for me, I've spent a lot of my life in the room of uncertainty, especially as it relates to entrepreneurial work and my own journey, with unsure if that would work, not fully trusting, not fully having faith, and methodically searching the wall, which, like the record keeper said, I may remain calm, but I spend a lot of time learning quite a bit. Maybe this is you too. And, I get through the door, but I'm like, why did it take so long? I can so relate to these. And for me, here over the past, let's say, year and a half, I'm more and more and more often choosing number 2, where I'm choosing to trust my higher self, the universe, my soul, my guides, and really leaning into my intuition as the primary way to move out of this. And I'm going to share another layer here in a second. So let's continue this channel message. So the record keepers continue. You see, had you not chose to lean in initially and take the first step, you'd still be in the room of the fear of the unknown. And by leaning in and taking even the smallest of steps, you will find a way out. Do nothing and you remain. There is one super important additional message embedded, they said clearly, in this. What is it? Can you identify it? If you can, let me know in the comments, and I'll give a slight pause here. And this gives me so much peace in my heart. It is the path of least resistance, is trusting and listening to your higher self, your heart, your spirit guides, God, universe, whatever name or names really resonate there for you. But it's this path of least resistance and trusting and listening to yourself, to your intuition, to your guides, to your team. Does this resonate with you? Sure resonated with me, even a year and a half after I channeled it. And one of the other things that I wanted to share that I realized with all of this experience is how important it is to, there's multiple things. I could go on and on for hours about this, but trying to keep it super simple here, especially speaking off the cuff, I was called to do this live, is for me, the way that it's been showing up for me and clients that I currently am working with and people who are coming into my world is that it's moving from the head and the overthinking and the energy being like up here. This is where it shows up here for me. And I realized last night when I sat with Cacao that grounding experience sitting with Cacao and the presence, how powerful that is and was. And you don't need Cacao for it. That was the tool that I leaned into last night. There are a lot of different ways that you can come into your body and you can ground and you can be present. For me, the minute I came into that space is when I realized, holy crap, I became so much more resourceful. I felt all of the flood of inspiration and ideas. I remembered the things in my business. I was able to see all the different ways and all the different options and all the different opportunities. I had creativity flowing in. This was all available to me when I was able to move my energy from like up here into my heart and into my body. And I realized that when we are able to connect and lead from the heart, that is a portal that opens up so much more for us. And if you can relate to this and you feel like you have been spending a lot of time in your mindset solutions, it's not working, you're ending up in this room of the fear of the unknown, you're annoyed, you're frustrated, like anything that you can relate to my own experience, as frustrating as it can be sometimes, I know that I go through these things in such a deep way because then I can understand them and I have firsthand experience of what it's like and what you may be going through. And so not only do I have my life experience of this, but it's like when I have this certain level of awareness and consciousness as I move through and I grow through my own journey of growth and as I'm continuing to work with clients and be a guide in their transformation, it's like when I go through things now, it feels as if like I'm so in it, but I'm also able to hold this awareness perspective, maybe not while I'm in it, but like as I shift out of it and be like, holy crap, that's what kept me stuck there. That's what led to that. Here's how I got out of it. Here's what unfolded. Wow, here are all the pieces of all of that. Like all of that is so much more clear to me now. And I know it's not going to be the same for every single person because we all have our unique systems and guidance and way of doing things. I know that's all there. I will say that it's extremely powerful that if we're able to get back in our bodies and to get grounded, we may find that the fear of the unknown dissolves and we're able to tap into our intuition and all of our resources. All of it is available to us. And if this is something that you are wanting support with, I have a couple different entry points to work with people. So I work one-on-one to be able to, it's all this beautiful, non-traditional container. Like it's not like, here's the 7 modules that we're going to go through in 7 weeks of magic. It's not like that. This is an experience where the very first step that you make, whether you come in one-on-one to work with me or in a group setting, the very first step that you make is that first trust in yourself and your intuition, because I do not want you to make that decision, or really anybody to make that decision coming into my world from the strategic mind being the main thing that's pulling them forward. I want it to be starting with the heart, the intuition, the body, and that to be what's pulling you forward into this work. And you feel like it's a soul yes. You feel like it is for sure the next step. And then you can layer your mind and your strategy into that experience. And this applies to this. I'd encourage you to do this across the board, and not just with my programs or coming into my world to work with me in this soul transformation. I'm saying across the board. Because as an example, let me give an example that if you're going to enroll in a program where the mind may trump the intuition or the body, I'm going to give probably 2 examples, maybe 3. One example is that the marketing. Jay and I have been talking, my husband and I have been talking about this a lot. There is so much marketing out there that is preying on all of your fears and insecurities and doubts and, being like, hey, stop doing this. It isn't working, or come over here and do that. Or I don't know, a whole series of different things. And if we're operating from the mind, it can be easy to get pulled in. I'm getting pulled in from my mind. Like, wow, this makes sense. It's only $9 or it's only $99, or wow, I better get in because this is the thing that's going to help. Or, man, maybe this is the thing that will help me because, man, there's just something wrong with me. I don't know, all the different ways that happens. As we move into our intuition and our heart and our body, there's a different pull. Just imagine you're getting pulled with your heart. And this pull is one where it feels right and aligned in your body, even if it doesn't make logical sense. So that can happen. And at the same time, it may feel like a yes. And then logically, maybe you're looking at your overall scenario, or you're looking at your finances, or you're looking at what's coming up next, or what your commitments are, whatever it is. And it just might not be the right time to say yes. This is part of what has helped me and what I've seen in this process, moving from just this is the way it feels for me. It's chaotic up here. It's chaotic. It's exhausting. It's frustrating. And when I move down into my body and I trust myself and my intuition, then I'm more able to clearly see and feel all of the different things that are available to me, so that when I do say yes to a program, to a coach, to an experience, that is all there for me. The other thing that I want to talk about when it comes to making decisions from the mind as it relates to coaching or investing in a consultant or investing in a program is that I know that sometimes, and this is just the nature of business, is sometimes the way that it is structured is that it has an early bird, or it has a, hurry up, jump in now type of feature. And when it has that hurry up, jump in now type of feature, it can be really easy to not want to have FOMO on the experience, and to where you are wanting to take that fast action because it makes logical sense. And you're like, oh, I'm in, I don't want to miss out. Like the deadline's coming. What if you were able to notice when that was happening and begin to feel how that energy shows up for you? And you were able to really tap into your body and into your intuition and into trusting your own self to know that if that thing was truly in alignment for you. And that's why I say that for me in my groups and my programs, like that's one of the first steps, is that when we're able to tap into how that feels and we're able to make that hell yes, aligned yes, like full body yes, or whatever word you want to move through it, that like soul aligned, you feel the tingles, you feel the soul contract. Like there's so many different ways that people interact with this energy. Like when that is there, that is a whole different space in which you're able to make and move and build from. And so if you just take that one moment in time and you expand it across everything, the more that you're able, the more that we're able to operate from our own inner strength and our own intuition, the easier it can be when we're stuck in the room and the fear of the unknown, as this channel message from the Akashic Records shared today, is that we're able to see the patterns and we're able to see how we got there and what led us there, so that in the future, because we are human, look, I know I have a direct connection to the Akashic Records and I can channel whatever I want at any time within reason. Of course, that's a whole nother conversation, but it's like I have this plug into this like divine galactic library of information. And at the same time, I'm a human AF. I get caught in my mind. I make excuses. I talk myself out of things. I overthink things. I overwhelm myself. I do all those things. Because part of the process is when we learn something, that is the first step. We learn it. So you hear these words today that I'm sharing, and you hear this channeled message, and you learn it, and you hear it, and you experience it. Then from there, it's time to integrate. And the integration phase is when it moves into like more into your body. And, you know, for some people, this is different. Like, so the way for me it works is like it comes in through the mind, and then I integrate it through the heart, where I'm like, okay, this aligns, this doesn't, this feels good, this doesn't. And I'm really aligning to what resonates for me. And then the embodiment phase is when it moves into my like gut and into my body. And now this is just who I am. Now that's the way that it works for me. And I've talked to some people where it works the other way. It comes up through their body, moves through their heart, and then it has the embodiment phase in their mind. It doesn't matter if it goes down, top to bottom, or bottom to up, or if it goes left to right, or it goes in a circle. There is a process of practice and integration in everything that we do. And I truly believe that the step of embodiment, of working through these different things, these different human experiences that we have, as we move through the integration and embodiment, we're able to more often operate from that, because that becomes our new operating system. That becomes our new norm. That becomes our new way of being, until life brings us to another place and another time in order for us to learn something different or something new in our own journeys. So we started with the channel message of the fear of the unknown, and now I've gone into a couple different things, and I've talked a little bit about integration and embodiment, and I could do a whole piece on that. Let me check my notes and see if there's anything else, and if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Even if you're watching the replay of this, I'll come back and answer them for you. So let me see, make sure I have nothing else I wanted to share. Yeah. Okay. One of the things I wanted to say here is that I mentioned this earlier in this video, is that we are always being guided, always are. It's just a matter if we're willing to see it. Last night, in my dreams, I was being guided. Like I was being guided very clearly, like show up today, do a live, do a video, do it imperfectly, share this message, share this experience, talk about this, go on. And so I woke up today and I was like, this is what I'm doing today. And here I am. because it's about how often we can take this imperfect aligned action, these nudges and these intuitive nudges, because this is what's going to help us move through the integration and the embodiment of different things and help us to expand out of our comfort zones and really get to know who we are. It's really important that we get to know who we truly authentically are and what is aligned with us. I'm grateful that you were here for this whole journey. I'm so glad that whether you hopped on from the beginning and stayed on all the way through, or you came on towards the end, this will be available for replay. So if you came on the replay, there's so many different ways to interact. So I thank you. Thank you very much for being here. I'd love to hear how this, what resonated, what you took away from this, what your experience was like. And if you want to apply to work with me one-on-one, or if you want to join my next group experience for 7 weeks of magic, which is about strengthening your self-trust and activating your own intuition, my next group starts September 16th, 2024. So if you go to jennyhala.com, I don't even know, I'm using a new system, but if you go to jennyhala.com, I don't even have it on my website, the 7 Weeks of Magic group. You'd have to message me. Basically, if you go to 7 Weeks of Magic drop down and you add -group on it, that's how you'll see it. But I don't have anything to put here in the comments, but I do have a page for it, and you can apply. You can find it on my social media and other places. I probably should put it on my website. Yeah. Well, sending you love. I'll see you guys sometime in the future. Let me know what other topics you want to hear. Bye.